With the information gathered by the Civil War veteran, we were able to recreate what an average day was like during the Civil War. It started out with...
An infantryman's day would start at the crack of dawn. They would then don all their gear, go, clean themselves up, and have breakfast. After breakfast, they would clean all their guns and knives. They would then load their guns and head off to the field for a full day of training. Lock and load. They would practice things such as marksmanship, tactical maneuvers, and even hand-to-hand combat. This kept the soldiers always on their toes and ready for any battles that may be before them.
Well, if I can think back, the first day, before we got to the first day, before we got to Germany, we had to get inoculated. 24 shots. In one day. And the last one we got was a tetanus shot. That was the worst. That stiffened you right up. The following day, you couldn't move your body, you couldn't move your arms, your legs. You had so many shots in you until it wore off. The regular day would be when we got set up and we was ready. We would have our bunks, and have our bunks made perfectly where you could drop a quarter on it and it would bounce. The sergeant would come in and inspect it, and if it wasn't made right, he'd rip it apart and you'd have to redo it again. Your socks had to be rolled in a certain position. Your shaving cream had to be put in a certain condition. Your razor blade. Everything was in order. Training, that was something that was vigorous. We knew you had to do a lot of training. And being a country boy, I was halfway there. So by the time the first month and a half rolled around, full pack, we could easily double time 5 miles one way without stopping and 5 miles back. To get us in condition. We were by the Berlin Wall this one Sunday. So all of a sudden we all heard this roar. There's a little sports car.
Halt! Turn off the engine.
Well, the East German soldier and the West, they both had their guns in each other, but since they were on the side, the freedom side, which side we were on, they took him in, except the father. Well, he rushed, went underneath the car, unscrewed 4 bolts. He took the bottom of the gas tank off. Underneath there, wrapped in a blanket, was a little baby. He had just enough fuel in his carburetor to get to that wall, cross over the fence into freedom. So that's how bad it was still then. But that was one of my heroic results that I've seen, and I'll always remember that.
I was called by Uncle Sam in 1960, June of 1960. We were part of the 7th Army, which covered most of Germany. And during that 18 months, I worked for the first sergeant, the executive officer, who was a first lieutenant, the motor officer, who was a second lieutenant, and the company commander, who was a captain. While there, it was, we had our routine duties, and we would occasionally go into the field or go on alerts where an alarm would sound and you would have to get dressed, whether it's middle of the night or whatever time of the day, get into your assigned vehicle and move to a staging area, and then from there you would either go back to your base or go to another assigned area, which could have been 100 miles away. Ours was up in the area of Heidelberg. But the toughest part was basic training, where you were disciplined, and you just had to go their way, and that was it. It was a good experience. I think a lot more young people should have that experience nowadays. I think it'd make them much better persons. The Berlin Wall was erected, which separated the city of Berlin from the Russian-controlled sector. The wall remained up until the late 80s, I guess it was, when President Reagan was very instrumental in having the Russians dismantle the wall.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
This project has taught us about the great sacrifices made by the men and women of war, and we greatly appreciate what they have done to keep our country a safe place. Thank you.